Hello all, this is the second video in my uni series, and I thought that instead of talking about like my course, which I'll do that another time, I thought I would talk about my novel. I call it My Story, even though it's not to admit, it's not my story, it's not my life, I'm creating characters and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I've got the folder here. I've had this folder for about 4 years now. It's quite battered. I mean, look, one of the little things is gone now. This has survived, like, you know, plane trips. It's been in luggage. It's been, you know, it's been transported in, you know, various ways. And yeah, it's got my story in it. And then that's because I'm going to do more than one volume because this story covers about 100 years. So I thought might as well just, you know. The actual story is gone but not forgotten. It's got well, at the moment I'm editing volume 1, and also I'm, you know, editing it and writing it, you know, writing my second draft as well. I just like being able to create characters and being able to create a story and being able to create a world which I can control and I feel connected to my characters. Because basically the story is a woman who's about 100 years old. She's called Victoria Wallace, so that's a great name. I was obviously very imaginative when I was 15 when I started the story, and she's in a home, and she develops early onset dementia, and she decides to write everything down in like a book, because she was born in 1890 and she dies in 1990, and she obviously wants to just write everything down before she sort of can't remember anything. I chose to do 1890 to 1990 because that's a really interesting period in history. It's got, you know, First War, Second War, 1930s, 1920s, 1950s, you know, all that sort of stuff. So she marries her husband when she's 17. And they have, I think, about 8 children, because when I was younger, I thought that what I would do is, if there's nothing I make her do in the story, I could say, okay, she can have another child, which is probably silly in retrospect, but the sad thing is that she outlives all of them. And yeah, she gets married to her husband, and he's I think trying to do. I thought he'd be like a musician or something like that, because at the time I thought that the only other job they could do in that time was like be like a gentleman of leisure or like a country bumpkin, and I was thinking I don't know how to characterise either of those, so I thought, yeah, to make him a musician. So yeah, I'm actually really enjoying writing it, and I just love creating characters. It's quite difficult trying to get rid of like some particular plot arcs which I don't really want anymore. I've had to kill characters off just because I can't use them in later stories because the story didn't work out. It's not very well researched or very well developed. And I was thinking, well, I might as well just take a dive and just not put them in, so I could just kill them off. I fleshed out the character of the husband's character a bit more because in fact the first draft he was quite a wimp basically, and that's not very realistic because even if you're the most even-tempered person, there's a point when you do just snap, and you decide, okay, that's enough. Yeah, so they have all these children, and they have a lot of different, you know, things come up in their marriage, which obviously it's not the easiest thing. You know, their life isn't very easy. It's got hardships. They lose several children in infancy and early childhood. I mean, due to like illness and stuff like that. And I just thought, yeah, I want to create a character who looks back at her life and just thinks about, you know, all that's past, because I think life's very precious, and obviously she's, you know, she lives through quite a lot, and even if I do probably feel that the way I represented a character, maybe that the 21st century ideals which I live in and I utilise have ingratiated themselves with how she thinks, then I can't really help that. It's the way I think, it's the way my character thinks. There's no real divide between the two. Yeah, I just want to just make a story, and it's like my pet project, and hopefully one day I can get it published, fingers crossed. But yeah, and I'm going to read a scene from it, from my story, which is set in 1913, when their daughter Vicky, she dies when she's about 3. She drowns. That's how the Titanic is involved. So Vicky dies, and that's, you know, really everyone's like heartbroken, and the thought and the fact that her daughter died does not leave Victoria all her life. She always thinks about her daughter who she lost, because I think that's very realistic. You're never going to forget somebody. So in this scene, when Vicky dies, they decide to get her cremated. They don't want to like just have to bury her and forget her, so they have her cremated, and then they have to let her go. 1913 dawned with the hopefulness that always accompanies New Year. Simon seemed happy. His music was doing well. We decided that it was time Vicky was laid to rest. We'd been keeping her ashes in an urn that was sat by the fireplace, but nobody could deny that Vicky deserved to be set free. Simon, myself and Sophie went to stand on the high point of the cliff face favoured by ramblers. It was early, and the sky was pale gold azure. The air was cold and brisk, snatching at garments, and I found myself crying gently. Sophie held her father's hand. I held the heavy urn to me. A moment ate with sadness. Simon watched me closely. "Are you ready?" he asked gently. "Is this what you want to do?" I nodded. Yes. Tears filled my eyes. I tried to blink them away. "I just don't want her to be alone." "She was never alone." Simon kissed me. "Up here, she can be free, and she'll always be with us." I nodded, finally at peace. I unscrewed the lid, and tendrils of ash broke free, and in their coils they blew away from us at last. Vicky would be leaving me forever, leaving us. As the 3 of us were there in our mournful group, I could make peace with myself. God had seen fit to take Vicky from this world. I kept my eyes fixed on the swirling ash as it blew away.